In this video, I'm sharing with you the best resources that I was studying from a few years ago and that I'm teaching my students with right now. This video is divided in many parts, each for a specific level, so watch them all. Alors c'est parti. A1. Make sure to choose an accent because Canadian French and French from France are like two different languages, so you have to be careful about that. To not, for example, learn 90 from Belgique and then you come to France and you say 90, like t'es fou quoi. Make sure to learn one specific accent, one specific dialect. The French from other European countries is very similar to the French, but African French is also very complicated. You have to be careful with that. But French from France is the most popular one and it has the most amount of resources, so I think the choice is obvious. No pressure though. And after that, you can move on to comprehensible input. What is that? C'est quoi? It is when you listen to content in the language, in your target language, without actually understanding many words, but you still grasp the meaning. I recommend the channel of this guy at first. He has a playlist for A0 French. Your job is to translate the words that you don't understand and then rewatch the video a couple of times in order to consolidate your knowledge. If I could give you only one resource for you to learn from at this stage, it would be this book. It would be this motherfucker. Each mini chapter in this book has a mini dialogue for you to practice listening and reading. Also a grammar point, a list with essential vocab in any situation, and also many exercises. You can generally find this book for free if you just search for the PDF version of it, as well as the audio on YouTube. To learn grammar more in depth, I would suggest Quizik. Generally, it's a paid website, but as far as I know, I may be wrong, you can learn 5 points per day, which is kind of enough for busy learners, as many of you guys are. What I like the most about this website is that it has a clear structure. Each grammar point leads to another one. It also has a map of the language so that you have a visual overview how much you still have to learn, which can be kind of stressful, but it's exciting. So check it out. A2. At this level, you have to keep watching comprehensible input. I would suggest also Dreaming French. I love the Dreaming Spanish videos. I'm so obsessed. Belzine, if you're watching this, I love you, girl. Te quiero. And continue learning grammar bits on Quizik. Also keep the Communication Progressive book. And you can start introducing the easy French slow videos, the beginner ones. Those are very good too. Start watching videos on YouTube. I'm gonna put on the screen my favorite channels that I have watched 4 or 5 years ago when I was moving from A2 to B1. Those help me enormously. But it's also crucial to increase your vocabulary at this stage. And for that, I have created a special workbook with over 100 phrases that any native would use, all in one book. The PDF has many chapters, 10 or even more phrases in each. The phrases that you will eventually hear in movies, in YouTube videos, in French bars, in French dates, in French coffee shops, everywhere. Those are the most essential of the essential. You have transcription and an example phrase for each expression. Each chapter has its own dialogue for you to practice and understand the phrases in context, and also recorded audio for each expression, dialogue, and example phrase, which is enormous. And of course, I took care of many exercises. You can practice a lot, you can review them, and there's also a final test in the end where you can practice all of the phrases from the book. My students are listening to my audio in the gym. You wanna be like that too? Link in the description. No, but like for real, I would steal something if I had such a workbook 5 years ago. I would steal the jewels from the Louvre. It turns out to be so easy. Yeah, get it in the link in the description. B1. At this stage, I will start incorporating grammar books. My favorite is Grammaire Progressive for B1, B2. You see, I'm in love with the Progressive series. It has everything. It has also vocabulaire and also the Communication for B1, B2. But if I only had to choose one, it would be the grammar book. Also keep watching YouTube videos. The Easy French interviews are mwah. And if you didn't watch the A2 part, there are YouTube channels that I recommend recommend it, and you should watch it too. For B2, here you continue with the Grammaire Progressive book. I mentioned it in the B1 part, and you start incorporating French social media here. Now, this is where it gets very fun. My favorite French YouTuber ever is Loris Giuliano. His interviews are hilarious. He filmed so many different people, so many hilarious people, so many weird people from different cities in France, from different francophone countries. So you have an enormous data on different accents, on different vocabulary, on different slang that actual people use, because he's interviewing locals. And speaking of slang, you can find a lot of slang in my workbook. And if you go through my workbook, if you learn it before watching his videos, you will understand so much more. And also start watching movies in French with French subtitles, especially French subtitles, because any other subtitles, that shit doesn't work. In your native language subtitles, that shit doesn't work. Don't even do that. My favorite ones are the comedies made by Philippe Lachaud and Tarek Boudali. Those guys are my favorite. I think they are friends in real life, and they made so many movies together. I watched every one of them, and it's just so fun. I know you can usually rent them for a few euros, but you can try to find them in your local language on your local website, just typing the name in your language and then also writing the original next to it. Maybe you could get the French original movie with subtitles. I know it's illegal, but just saying. C1 part. For C1, I have a separate video where I talked about my experience with the DALF C1 exam, and where I also share a bunch of resources that I learned French with at this stage. But in general, to reach C1, you need to read an enormous amount of articles and news. This is the level which not only tests your knowledge of the language, but also your broad knowledge, the general knowledge about everything in the world. This is when you have to know some things, just something about sustainable tourism, pesticides, robots, anything, you name it, and also be able to speak about it in French. For grammar, I recommend the B2, C2 part of the Grammaire Progressive. I also did it. I finished it like last summer, and it's extremely helpful. It's extremely insightful. I cannot recommend it enough. And also start reading novels. My favorite one, and the one that I did my bachelor thesis on, was Bonjour Tristesse by Françoise Sagan. Very glamorous, elegant book based in French Riviera, but very traumatizing. Rich people have no peace. Just enjoy your money, God. Why do you need so many problems? But yeah, I hope you guys like this video. I will be doing separate videos explaining how I would learn, how I would study French at each stage, at beginner, at intermediate, and advanced stage in the future. So subscribe to not miss out, and turn on your notification bells. The workbook with all of the French phrases you need to know is in the description. And I wish you an excellent fin de votre journée. Au revoir, à bientôt.